Ahoy, boys, and welcome to Volume 82 of the One Piece Virgin Eggheads Book Club podcast, covering chapters 817 to 827 of One Piece, ending the Zoe arc and starting the Whole Cake Island arc, which I believe is Heartsy Protsy's favorite arc. Oh my god, we're in peak! We're in fucking peak! I am your captain of the measly crew, Monkey D. Jones, joined as always by your virgin extraordinaire. It's Eggy V. Rodriguez.
That's right. Call me the best of 4 points, because if there's anything in life I'm trying it 4 times and taking the best result, bring me to the unknown, baby. That's right. That's right.
Is this the most epic lore bomb drops of any volume ever here at the end of Zoe?
It's hefty. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. Unlike what our good friends from Wano frankly have done so often so far, how could they not trust us to know about their culture and about their kingdom, the ancestry? I don't know, but I do know one thing though. It's gonna be my hat, so I'm gonna keep it where it's at until you're sat.
Let's hear it.
You can call me Rizo with the tricks that'll make you sick, because I want to be ninja.
Yes, fans who may have seen on the Treehouse channel, we once reviewed a cringy middle-aged woman who wanted to be ninja, and now we have a real-life ninja in Rizo. Is this a new literally Eggy character when you met him? And perhaps he stands out, he's distinct due to his head shape. You know, as Eggy, can you relate to this man? To be fair, his head is 80% of his body, seemingly, so it's a little bit different from you.
Yeah, mine's only like 70, maybe 60%. To be fair, his presence was just so significant, and we've been waiting, I think, since I guess it was just the week between last and now, but really just since we were made aware of his existence.
Is it a disappointment? Was an entire civilization putting themselves through torture and suffering and poison and dying worth it for, and I assume your disappointment is due to his visual design? Is this a question of pretty privilege, Eggy?
I mean, I was really in Luffy's position here, where it's like, all right. I mean, I'm expecting something, because Kinemon, he could have just said, "Oh yeah, that's my," he could have given me a little forewarning, to how similar he might be to the Wano persons that we've already met. And I like his crescent moon. I like his he's got like sort of a furrowed brow that's relatable.
His hair's like crazy dreadlocks, basically. I mean, coming off him. But he uses Naruto's signature attack, the Shadow Clone Jutsu. And I love the detail that all men love ninja, as Frankie says, and even Trafalgar Law, who gets to accompany the Straw Hats on this epic lore breakdown, which I, as a Law fan, I'm glad he got to be there. Even he, and of all things, he's the one who requested the doppelganger technique. And what does he actually show? The Shadow Clone Jutsu. And also interesting, Law calls it doppelganger in this translation, but Rizo calls it Shadow Clone. And on the Boruto podcast, we had a discussion about that, of why do some translations use one over the other, but One Piece literally uses both in the same chapter. What the hell?
And I don't know exactly. There's something very familiar about this hair shape. I don't know what it reminds me of. Is it yen? I don't know. There's something about it with the sort of angled downturn at like halfway through each of these giant locks. He's kind of got some unknown hints and sideburns going on. Really, a lot of unknown hints and facial features as well, to be honest.
Do we think his hair is like spelling out a Japanese word? Those weird kanji or whatever the hell, those squiggles all over like crazy? Maybe he's spelling one, because at one point he throws shuriken that spell out ninja.
I could see it. He's got a very a flashy style to him, even compared to Kinjaro with his sort of kabuki styled look that he's got going on. There's something very particularly stylistic about it that seems it feels to me like performative. So maybe he might have been some real ninja star, but
Did you not feel on the emotional level the introduction of this man is he's chained to the poneglyph and he's weeping because the people bringing him food were severely injured and they keep lying to him. Oh no, there's nothing wrong. There's no fighting. You don't worry about it. And he knows they're lying and he he would not have allowed this to happen and that's why he had to be chained down. Is there no honor in that? And this man weeping in his introduction is actually the manliest thing I've ever seen, Eggy.
I do understand it. I do, but it's just one of those very unfortunate things. I use the word unfortunate for it
That's
because
so sad. It's
well,
unfortunate that he's an ugly design. Like
no, it's just to have to be held back. Like to know, hey, this is gonna happen. There's only a certain amount of defense that we can present for this assault that's about to happen, and to have you included would be actually a detriment
it would defeat the
overall for
purpose. They
what.
would just take you and then it's
Yeah,
over.
exactly. And so to hold yourself is just like yeah, it's incredibly just horribly misery inducing, agony inducing, just to be in that position because all you're gonna do while you're sitting there, that's I could definitely see the weeping from that angle, from that perspective. Like you just have to be held there while everybody suffers and dies, and they won't even provide you the decency to just keep it honest and say, yeah, this is what's going on, but we got to keep you here because they're looking for you.
You
Don't
think that would
worry
be
about
more
it.
decent to be honest about,
Oh.
yeah, the entire village is suffering because we wanted to protect you?
I mean, he's going to be held either way. They already restrained him, so it's like, oh, just stay here, man. Just calm down. Just take a deep breath. Just don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. It's just a couple things going on, but it's yeah.
I like
It,
the hiding place there. I think it's a bit ingenious because it was not originally just Raizo's hiding place. It's the hiding place of this road poneglyph. There are
Mhm.
four red colored poneglyphs that give out a location, and if you find out all four and draw, oh, what's that? X marks the spot on the map, Eggy.
That's right.
Is this literally what this story became? You get the four epic keys in your Mega Man Legends 2 video game to unlock the mother lode? Did Mega Man Legends 2 predict One Piece perfectly? Yes, it did. Yes, it fucking did. In so many ways, yes, it did. But still, both are Supreme Kino. X marks the spot to find the One Piece, Eggy. I mean, we have spent over 800 chapters just blindly, vaguely searching for this thing, but now it's cemented what we have to do. Like it feels like the story somehow just started in a way. Do you get that feeling?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the truth being brought to Rhizo's perception here. He just sees these horrible, mangled people keep on, keeping him alive. And he's like, he's held back, he's chained, he's restrained. He's only able to do these very limited things. But now he's being freed, and our minds are being freed as far as the ideas that have been held away from us. I mean, really, yeah, up to this point, I mean, even the fact that people like Kanjuro or Mononosuke were hiding certain things from us, it's just it's been there, it's been within grasp, it's been within reach, it's been so close that we could really taste it, but we had to have it hidden away from us and held from us until that exact moment that's just right. And even now, I must question because we have so many different irons in the fire here as we meet up at this particular spot that it's difficult to really allocate everybody in the best way to each particular spot. But but what I do think is good, intelligent, was to have Rhizo at the Poneglyph because it's sort of like a have all your most valuable assets in one particular spot, so you don't have to spread yourselves out there. If only everything else forward could be so consolidated, but I don't know if it will be.
Yeah, and that was the point I was getting at was like this poneglyph has been in this supreme hiding spot in the whale tree for hundreds and hundreds of years. So if we need to hide our friend, we already have the greatest hiding spot we could ever think of. Let's just throw him in there. And there's the biblical story of Jonah and the whale, Eggy, and I don't really know the implications of it. Maybe what Jonah had great faith in God. Who knows? It could be about anything. But
Mhm.
this whale idea is appearing a lot in One Piece. You have to go inside of this whale tree to find this important poneglyph. We go inside of Laboon when we meet Laboon, and there's a fucking island inside of him. There's a really cool panel here of Frankie with his hair in the shape of the whale tree, and then the whale tree's right behind it. And it's like a perfect match. Is Oda implying, hey, maybe if there's a giant elephant, maybe there's a giant whale, and the island of the One Piece, maybe it's inside of that whale?
I think it would be sensible because we get a little bit of background on Zoo here in this volume about how he was cursed long ago, and part of his curse was that he had to continue to walk constantly. So he was just traveling the oceans in that way. And I think something similar could certainly have happened to a whale. Like you just got to kind of be swimming at full speed. And I think the curse combined with any potential value that would be contained inside that whale, I think it would make sense because you got to be like on the most tip-top accuracy of your sailing and pirating game to be able to find the exact coordinates of this fastly and continuously moving whale, to be able to try and grasp onto it and perhaps burrow or enter it in some capacity, or maybe even just land on it to find out what it might have within its own uh, orbit of value there.
In which case, if the X marks the spot, would it just be marking out the general location of where this traveling whale would be? Because it's kind of hard to pinpoint a exact location of a living thing.
I feel like it could be that it would connect onto maybe at the moment you would get that last poneglyph, maybe it would say like, you know, at that particular time of day the whale should be in this particular area, but also then still maybe you'd have to give a little bit of a lead on it, a bit forward in its momentum and its rotation to find it, or in its particular inhabiting area.
And there's a lot of other whale shenanigans too, because Laboon was slamming his head against the red line, and from our perspective, it's because he wants to reunite with his pirate crew friends who he thinks might be on the other side or whatever. But at the end of Fishman Island, as we're ascending the ocean, we see a whole school, a whole gang of fish, and they all have the same scars. So all the whales are attacking the red line for their own reason. Maybe when I said Sugar's toys in Dressrosa, maybe there's something like that on a global scale. Maybe these whales are all former humans who want to do away with this red line.
Yeah, that would be pretty brutal to be so close to have that reveal within your grasp, and then to be just mogrified in that way, to then become an animal that everybody's chasing after. Like, oh, I'm so close to finding out the One Piece, transformed into a whale that's falsely flagged, so that every single one of the greatest pirates of all time is trying to come kill you to try and get something from you that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I guess when we're introduced to fucking Vivi of all characters, what is she doing? She's trying to kill the whale, hunt him down for food. So if you want to punish people, turn them into whales, and if they try to ask humans for help, they'll just get fucking harpooned. That's not a bad idea. We solved the One Piece. Everybody's a whale.
You got to keep on downing them. You know what? You can't be the king of the pirates without a little blood on your hands. Maybe it's just part of the deal. We all would prefer you could do that, but you got to do what you got to do to make things happen, to make things shake, to make them click.
Eggy, you love video game comparisons. Is this not the most video game thing of all time to say we need to collect the 4 stones and boss number 1 has 1 stone, Kaido has 1 stone, boss number 2, Big Mom, she also has one of the stones. So I guess we have to go fight these bosses to earn the item and collect all 4 to get to the final level. Is that basically what we're doing here? In which case, this is stone number 1. Fight those other 2. Who has the 4th one? Blackbeard, Shanks, somebody
Well, I would
else.
like to think that if that was something that is a possibility, because as Usopp mentions in the volume, maybe we could just take an imprint of the poneglyph
Right.
located within these certain areas, and you wouldn't have to necessarily go into a total all-out war with one of the 4 emperors. But
But Luffy's reaction to that concept was, ew, fuck that, sneak in and steal it. I'm gonna be Pirate King. I need to beat these people anyway. Fuck that. So I like that Oda like puts in the
That's right.
logic and then so that we can have the main character disagree with it.
But yeah, considering what we have seen from both Kaido and Big Mama, even prior to this volume, but also including this volume, it goes to show that, yeah, they don't seem to be maybe the most open-minded and reasonable and like willing to compromise people. They're like, hey, I'm gonna fucking kill you, fuck you, die.
I was
About
getting
anything really.
It was Buggy the Clown flashback. Our introduction to Buggy is one of his dudes accidentally says rubber nose, and then Buggy blows him up with a buggy ball. And I was like, what the fuck? That's one of your dudes, and you murdered him over a word? What the hell? Kaido here, he's angry drunk, he's sad drunk, crying drunk. Maybe this was the most literally Eggy moment of the volume, is these different personalities of drinking. And then some guy just says something. Who cares what he said? Kaido blasts him through a wall, and he goes flying off the island into the ocean.
Some real Team Rocket business, yeah.
Which is Kaido just the evolution of Buggy? If they get a similar like introduction of interacting with their crew here, is, oh, you said something I don't like, I'm gonna blast you away. Are we supposed to think that there's a parallel between these two?
Well, I think there's something to be said about just the general, excuse me, boss man sort of energy. This sort of
He's not a
my word
Doflamingo
is the definite law.
who loves his family and will forgive them. Like Kaido's like, yeah, fuck you, you're fodder.
But I think it's also could be to make an example if you have a certain sort of idea, a certain energy, a certain presence. Like for myself, if I say, oh, I feel a certain type of way about a certain CEO of a website, everybody's kind of feeling how I'm feeling. They're getting on board with it, and all of a sudden I'm going, oh, well, actually, never mind. He's okay. He's good. Yeah, let's not worry about him. Let's talk about something else. Don't worry about him. If I'm kind of, if I'm coming in with a certain momentum as Kaido is here, he's coming in, he's already ready to get plastered. He's really just already reckless with it from the very beginning. And anybody who's going to try and reason with an unreasonable man, I think they're going to probably find themselves on the receiving end of a significant pain, especially one who is so feared and as accomplished as Kaido is, and he's really, making no qualms about what his ability is and what he is capable of and what he feels like. If he feels like he wants to just fucking destroy you, he's not gonna consider and weigh, well, actually, he was kind of cool, I guess, but he's the boss, he's the leader, he's an emperor. You cross anything and he feels is crossed, you're just gonna probably die. He's gonna throw you through a mountain, and he won't think about it. 1 second later, it's over with.
And this might be the attitude of the entire Beast Pirates, because homeboy Jack is back, baby. You thought he was dead? No, he's starring in the Anaconda movie. Oh, what a delight. So funny. But one of Jack's men, one of his henchmen, is like, oh, we can't tell Jack the truth, that we failed. I think it was the sheep's head guy. So I guess strength is everything in this crew, and if you were defeated, then you're useless, and you might as well be killed. I think that's enough hat opinions for the opening 20 minutes of the podcast. Eggy, what is your top of mind?
Well, I gotta say this. It's gonna be maybe a little surprising to some persons is, but it was also surprising to me in chapter 824. We've talked about this a little bit, with Sanji being kidnapped, he's taken into the wedding. But his loyalty and his love for the Straw Hat crew are so much. There's no way, there's absolutely no possibility that he would ever find himself, committing into this sham of a marriage between his long estranged family and this big mom family. Oh, well, wait a second. Whoa, 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 whoa. This is your bride to be, the 35th daughter of the Charlotte family, Charlotte Pudding. Oh my goodness, where's my scoop of that pudding?
Yeah, chocolate pudding, baby! I would eat her cafe!
I mean, listen, I'm going to tell you this much too. If Big Mom was pumping out 35 daughters, we're not even talking about the sons, that Big Mom Mussy, oh my lord, it must be on. That's the emperor of all women as far as the hierarchy of love goes, probably speaking, to be honest. So, this was a moment where I saw Sanji, I saw his reaction, and I saw my own reaction to this. Bada bing, bada boom. It says it right there in the big old impact comic book text. I was like, rubbing my own forehead. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, is the reveal that
Sanji!
Sanji's bride to be is hot? Is that the biggest, like, we're fucked moment of the story? I don't see how we're getting out of this one.
As I finished this chapter, I said to myself, I was like, well, it was good knowing him. All the best from here on out.
This is a man who, his love for women is so extreme, he refuses to kick them or fight them, to the extent that he will put the Straw Hats in mortal danger over it. His principle is women above everything else, no matter what. Might be a bad sign. If he falls in love with this woman, is he going to have the same attitude?
Well, it's one thing about it too, if he's looking at somebody like Nami or Robin, whoever, like another woman he's very close to and familiar with. But first off, there's no arranged marriage. There's no preformed connections between the families as there is in this particular situation. And we see in this volume, Nami, she's thinking about Momonosuke and his kingdom. She's fucking pushing this little kid up into her cleavage. What a sicko. Even Luffy is getting a forehead full of Nami boob here. She's really just giving it up in this volume here. In the meantime, we have, listen, this ain't no Wuthering Heights, so we ain't crossing wires like that. But even Sanji's, well, that's not what her name is, but Sanji's older sister, she fine as hell too. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Raiju?
You know what I'm saying? I'd be kicking something and smoking something and cooking up the finest dishes to see what's going on there.
You would poison yourself on purpose just for the chance that she might suck it out of your lips?
I think we
all
completely agree. Even we have Carrot here. The most
best
formidable
stowaway of all time,
sex symbol. We've been waiting on her for hundreds of chapters. But Charlotte Pudding's got these big, thick, full lips. She looks like she's got some kind of lip filler. They didn't even have that created hundreds of years ago when this was set in a parallel universe. But golly gee willikers, and she's a business owner. She can stand up for herself. She's got a fantastic friend who's a carpet and a fantastic jelly friend too. Listen, I will not speak on what my body was reacting to when I was observing this imagery. I will keep that away from us because it's something totally unnecessary. But
well, let's break down this character because
presumption.
I think the fact her personality is the most horrifying thing of all is that she's a cook. She loves cooking and she has a kind heart. These are complete strangers who ate her business and she's lying to the police to protect them. She has no clue who these people are. She's basically female Sanji. Like either she has to join the crew and be with them, or it would be cruel of them to take him away from her in the first place. Like, this seems like a perfect match.
You're reading my mind. I thought to myself, I was like, damn, Sanji, that lucky mofo. You know, I'm sitting there. It does not even, as we conclude this volume, I mean, I don't even entertain the notion that Sanji could be dissuaded from this matrimony. It's like, that's why it's my top of mind, because I'm over here like, woo. First off, the look, then the cook, the family lineage, the bloodline behind it. You know, this is like, we don't understand it anymore because, you know, in the modern day, our parents, you know, they just, the minute we turn 18 years old, they dump us into the latest sewer grate and they never speak to us for the rest of our lives. So
Wow.
we don't know what it was like back then, but or maybe that's just me. But anyway, we don't know what it was like back then to have this sort of like honorific prestige behind the grand tales. I hope my children get a different story, but the grand background here to your person. And I mean, man, that would really suck if you had some like really ugly freak that you were getting locked in with. But Sanji here, and you know, I mean, I can't really speak from a woman's perspective, but I think that Charlotte, you know, she's not coming into nothing. You know, she's got something to work with. I feel like so. Uh, I mean, I'm like putting myself in as like in the shoes of a Straw Hat crew member, like, hey, have a good life, Sanji. Hey, you know what? You ain't gonna get better than that. I would say, hey, and she's got to. Her family said she has to marry you. You're good, bro. Like, hey, eat up, eat candy for life. Oh my goodness, beautiful, beautiful, and your mother-in-law is one of the greatest of all time. Definitely stronger than your crew right now. So hey,
Yeah, speaking of which, is Big Mom even evil? In the final chapter here, it's revealed Big Mom's dream is people of all races living together happily without discrimination. She's DEI the person. This is supposed to be the major villain of the arc, is somebody who loves diversity and peace? For real? Eggy, is Oda about to have an anti-DEI stance here with the villain? What the fuck?
well, all I'm gonna say is this is perfectly timely because there's been a recent event in our world where there's been some of this being called into question. Okay, I don't know if you heard about it. It might be a little spicy. I don't know.
Yeah, say it. I don't know what you're talking about.
So there was a man with a slight verbal impediment. He was helping present some African American film awards, and he said some things he couldn't control. This is like, oh, that's like asking to control a seizure.
Did you say
It's
it was
not
the African
possible.
American Film Awards?
BAFTA.
Is that the
I thought it.
British?
I thought it was them black brother and
Yeah,
fellas
so yeah,
at the films
Michael B.
awards.
Jordan and some other black guy, they were giving an award, but the guy with the Tourette's was there because there was a movie made about him, and the white guy playing him, won an award at that very award show for playing him. So if it is the Black Movie Awards, I don't know why a white guy was winning Best Actor.
Maybe he was South African, like Elon Musk. I don't know. African American awards.
Is BAFTA? We should look it up. Is it British actors or is it black actors? What does BAFTA
I mean,
mean?
it doesn't make sense for Michael B. Jordan to win a.
He was just presenting, wasn't he?
Okay, Google, what does BAFTA Film
British
Award
Academy
stand
of
for?
Film, Television Arts. Yeah, these guys weren't even British. What were they doing there? Of
This
course he
stands
would
for
say
the
that
British
to them.
Academy of Film and Television Art.
Well, in any case, I'll just say this much. A popular politically charged account for the rights of persons of color said, I no longer want any coalition between any oppressed people or any persons of color. It's us versus everybody. We can't trust you guys are all over here trying to carry water and apologize for Tourette's. We're not going for it anymore.
That's
So
exactly what the Celestial Dragons want. You're playing into their hand. There were too many Gaza stories in the news, so now they're forcing this into your feed. This is not a news story. Nobody should care that some guy with Tourette's said the N-word at an award show. The fact that they're pushing this in your feed constantly for days means they're hiding the real stories from you. Do you understand, you motherfuckers? The fact you even act on this discourse at all is playing into the hands of Jewish pedophiles who raped children. Get over it. Tourette's is an IQ test. We don't need to care about the opinions of people who are sub 80. Let's just move on as a society.
Exactly. So this is, sorry, big up mom. She has a really beautiful vision of the future, but when it's the candy awards and the man has croquettes, and he starts shaking his biscuit around and saying some certain things that the Lollipop Guild doesn't agree with. It's going to be a little dicey. So, like I said, timely commentary here. Best laid plans, not exactly fitting the candy forms that they're poured into. Factual.
But what do you think is the message going to be here? If our main villain of the arc says, I just want to create a paradise land where every island is its own delicious food and people of every race can come together and live in this paradise. Is this going to be like a Dressrosa scenario where it seems nice on the surface so that it's like a dystopian nightmare? Or is Oda going to present us with Luffy's going up against somebody who genuinely is not even bad? It's just somebody who's Luffy's rival due to circumstance. And can our hero beat up somebody who's doing nothing wrong?
I think it's just going to be a lot like the Family Guy gag where Officer Reese's discovers the semi truck of chocolate and the semi truck of peanut butter that crash into each other. I mean, honestly, I do feel like it's going to be like that. It's going to be like, well, here, let's all come together. Here goes, the fondue coil and all of the milk chocoloids. Oh my God, they're melting. Oh no, we can't. All right, gumdrops and chili powder lane. Oh, they're all mixing up. Oh, they're
You're
all
saying
horrible
society
things.
will become a literal melting pot and that the flavor will become disgusting because the distinction and uniqueness of the flavors unmelted was actually better, and creating a gray sludge of melting pot goo, goy slop, if you
Well,
will, is not necessarily delicious.
we see clearly, for instance, the sun and rainbows and clouds are all like definitive, distinguished, participating figures here.
They
So
have
I
like
do
they have
feel like
faces and we're singing along to the musical.
they're like, "Hey, how do you do? It's so good to be on Chocolate Island." The sun just like starts coming in down to like 5 feet from the ground, like, "Hey, Chocoloids!" They're like, yeah. They turn into puddles and they're boiling. Well, I guess that wasn't so good. Whoopsie doodles. Either way.
So is your answer that we're going to learn diversity is not our strength and that Oda is going to depict that in the story? Is that what I'm picking up here?
Well, what I do know is that Stanford talked about it in 2013, and we've been quoting that study for a while. So
That
really, none of
that
us
wasn't the prison
are
experiment,
bigoted.
was it?
No,
That was way before then. Yeah.
it was a something that they might have ended up removing it, but it was popular at that time. 10, 15 years ago, somewhere in that ballpark of that social cohesion of a lot of anybody who did not have common sentiment all paired together was just like none of them, all of them instinctively did not trust one another. They would not tell this person this. They would only tell this person that was had similarities to them. They would only talk to them. They wouldn't talk to the non-similars. They wouldn't live around the non-similars. It was a big thing back then, and I don't know if it got buried or disavowed or whatever, but it was very popular, and it was from like Stanford or Harvard or something, so it was very easily quotable back then. We'd have the discussion on Facebook like 2012, 13 or whatever. It was very popular to be very forward facing and very progressive. But oh, I got this thing here. It's from Harvard. Yeah, I want you to read it, and you'd read it, and they'd be like, "Oh yes, people with too many unfamiliar traits refuse to live next to each other. They would be all placed together and they would all go as far away from each other as possible to be next to the person who had the most in common with them." So it probably was maybe not so far off the time that this was published that was still very popular among certain circles to quote and to reference. But I mean, we have so many things here. The only common thread is that they are, around Big Mother, around Big Mom, and that they might have some candy-like qualities. But I mean, there's so many different types of candy and so many different things. I feel like
I don't think all the
there's,
people necessarily have like chocolate in their body or whatever. They just live on Chocolate Town.
yeah, but I could definitely see them not being totally agreeable with one another for sure.
The people of all the
Even,
different food islands, you think
even
would
without
not get
like
along?
with like chud entanglements, like oh, uh, whatever. I think just off inherently from the very beginning, even their qualities as candy persons, that they're not going to have
I
total
think you're
commonality.
buying too much into this candy thing. The idea was even here in Chocolate Town, people of every race are coexisting together. That's the idea, and that it's like this, assumedly in all the other 37 islands too. I wouldn't focus on like the food angle of it, more just like, where else are the long arms and long leg tribes gonna get along? Only in Tato Land.
True. And as long as they have the common enemy, that's a big thing. If you had a common enemy to rally behind, you could get a lot more mileage out of your multi-candial society for sure.
What do you make of Big Mom's musical to end the volume? And it's like a Disney animated musical sequence where, like you were saying, like the fucking rainbows and suns and shit are alive and singing along. Is this metaphorical or is this literally happening? Are these living creatures? What the fuck is going on?
Well, I loved this particular line here specifically. It goes like this. How's the design? It looks just fine. And the budget extravagant. Ingredient through murder and theft. Like, oh, okay. So despite all the smiley exterior, they're not afraid to get busy. Even the sun sings "The Tea Party from Hell" in a
Hell yeah.
positive and excited way. Um, I thought it was quite humorous and quite entertaining, and I thought to myself immediately, like, damn, I should definitely remember to come back to this one anime style, because if they're really
Mm.
singing this as it's presented, that'd be a lot of fun to listen to.
Yeah, the Big Mom musical sequences might be the only time I would recommend the anime over. Like, even fight sequences they do better in the manga sometimes, but
Mhm.
yeah, Big Mom might have a couple songs in her that you'll want to hear. Mama, mama, mama. That's her laugh. Is mama, 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 mama.
Mario build.
Yeah, I might turn my laugh into just a word that I repeat. Monkey, 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 monkey. Like I think you're putting that on. You're not really laughing. Monkey, monkey, monkey. Speaking of monkey, my top of mind is at 17 minutes after yours. Wow, this opening segment's taking a bit. Am I losing faith in Luffy as a noble, respectable pirate captain here? He destroys a week's worth of food, all the food supplies on the ship, to make a disgusting melting pot.
Some
Intentional, Eggy?
bones.
Literally, all these individual ingredients, let's throw them all in the same pot and see what happens. Oh, it's inedible, disgusting garbage. What an interesting way to begin the Whole Cake Island DEI storyline, Oda. Did I put this on you, or is this intentional? But I lose respect for Luffy here, but also for the entire rest of the crew that's with him. What is Nami thinking? Letting Luffy be alone with all of their food? Has this man ever not just gorged himself? You have to keep a lock on the refrigerator or he will eat all of the food, and you're leaving him alone to cook it for everybody because for some reason you wanted to charge them money to cook the food, and I guess everybody said no and all agreed let's have Luffy cook instead. What? Are you kidding? Come on, Brooke. I keep kicking my damn microphone cord, but I'm so
That's because we're
disappointed.
so upset.
Yes.
What the fuck? I mean, it's he's never cooked. Never. What the hell? Because he's the captain. You think you just have to give everything up to him when he doesn't know better?
He's the brain of a child. He's only good for fighting. That's why he's the captain, because he can beat people up. Don't leave him alone with the food. No wonder you're starving to death. I like that they're at a span of ocean that's so hot that the ocean is boiling. So just real dire straits for our favorite characters here, and so many furries that have to put up with the heat too. Poor Pedro and Carrot. How excited were you when Carrot popped up?
Well, it would be it would have been hurtful to not have Carrot, after we waited so long, at least I did for sure. I was in my dreams every night for the whole time,
Yeah.
weeks, months, to finally have Carrot there. You know, I started licking my screen because I'm low on vitamin A, that is. Uh,
There is potential for Reiju, Carrot, and Pudding to all meet each other, maybe share a bath scene, Vivi style. Hmm? Would you be licking several screens at that point? You'd have it open on your phone and you're
open up my phone. Oh, yeah.
ravenous.
I was able to fit most of this into my mouth at one point, which is why it's so broken. Got so many cracks in it and shit like that. So.
He says about his phone, I was able to fit most of this in my mouth at one point.
It's a good thing I got $300 donations on my stream today, so I could, I got a little extra money there if I ever need to reinvest because everything's on my phone. That is what it is. But
let me try that line again. Monkey, 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 monkey. Okay, that was me laughing.
Yeah.
Monkey, 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 monkey. Go ahead.
But yeah, it's I mean, listen. Oh, Nami,
What was you thinking?
I love Nami. Don't get me wrong. Like, I could never really say anything bad about Nami here, but like,
You called her a
she
sicko.
just and that's I
It's
think
one of the worst
truth
things you could call someone.
I mean, that's true, but this is a life or death situation here with the food supply. And I just kind of feel like, she seems like a holier than thou. Oh, let me put my hands up. That's not my place to cook the food. What are you talking about? She's got a green thumb with the trees, with the fruit trees. I think that she's got that careful measure that I would be hard placed to find in maybe a chopper would probably be the next up pick for me in that regard. But I mean, he's got fucking hooves. Is he gonna stir with hooves and go like this? With his rubbing his cartilage together. Nami, like, what's the deal? Okay, I think it's what it was. She just feels like we're going after Sanji. He felt how he felt that he felt about her before. She's feeling like real top dog status, like that her shit don't stink, that she's oh well, I guess I could go. Yeah, let me go in. I get, this is what it is. He's the one, we got to go after him. He's getting, let me go pluck him from his troubles once again. I think she's feeling a little too self-indulgent here and just kind of waves Luffy off to be in charge of this food. Oh well, he eats so much, he knows what's good or whatever. And now they're gnawing on bones, instant death, poison fish skin. It's like,
Is this a message about the dangers of feminism where maybe Nami's thinking, oh, what? Because I'm the woman, I have to do all the cooking? Fuck that. I'm not doing that. That's beneath me. And also, just to be clear, folks, she has a whole garden of tangerine trees on the ship. The crew literally starving to death. Life and death situation. Still cannot touch the tangerines, where we assume the ice or wind or snow fruit, whatever the fuck, might be waiting from Punk Hazard. Is that why we can't touch them? Because we would find out there's a fucking devil fruit? Luffy takes a bite of the wrong one and he explodes from having two fruits? It would kill him? Really? Starving to death. Nobody can have a tangerine. Okay. Plot hole or bitch hole? Fucking cunt.
I mean, I think, feminism is a way to put it, but I think also at the same time, she's got this background where she's been very like self-sufficient, very true to her own beliefs, and really just not at all concerned with what's going on with other people. She's like, hey, you know what? I was adopted and I had to go out here. I had to go be with the Arlong Pirates. It's been me, myself, and I. Me watching my own back. Fuck it all. Regardless, whoever else doesn't matter. And in this circumstance, I think probably she was carrying that energy in. She didn't have. Sanji was a man. He occupied his role. There's nobody there to necessarily take over that role. So she kind of just keeps on with her mindset. She doesn't consider what other things she has to do with the crew as they stand right now. She's willing to let, Luffy, are you going to do it? Yeah, you like to eat or whatever, so dude, just go over there. And she's still tunnel vision, laser focused on whatever her typical responsibilities and her typical schedule is, and then turns around and sees Luffy's done this horrible thing. which when she thought, if she had thought about it, she'd given it some thought, it wouldn't have been any kind of mystery whatsoever. It would have been very self-apparent, I think. So,
Yeah, this
uh,
was her fault. And then when Luffy's literally dying of poisoning, she's pretty nonchalant about it. Really, only Chopper is taking it seriously. And I feel like it makes the reader not take it seriously. But I think the implication is if Reiju doesn't pull up, Luffy literally dies right here. That's kind of major. Like his stupidity almost killed him in this moment. So and also Nami, she's more interested in what putting on a new dress, fucking what is this, like a pilgrim costume or something. And then when Brooke dares to just want to peek at some panties, he ends up with like 9 welts of bumps on his head. She brutally destroyed him. Like wasn't even one hit. She's like, pow, 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 pow. Wow, where was that effort in trying to save Luffy from poisoning, Nami? My God, just gonna beat the shit out of your dear friend here. Too much yet. Nami needs to work on something. I hope she gets punished this arc to learn some lessons about maybe take one for the team once in a while, bitch.
I mean, that slight, I mean, it wasn't even intentional, really, in her regard. Brooks' face just happened to slide on the ground near where she was, wearing a new garment. And that could have been something that really got him really motivated. It
Got
could have
him
really
boned
got
up.
him in a good place to be better and stronger. And I mean, let's just keep it real. You're not gonna cook for us. I mean, shout out to the navigation, but you're over here. Oh, I don't know. It's the 3 log poses. What do I do?
Yeah, I
So you don't even
spent
know what's
two
really going on. Why not
years.
take a moment to give us a little something else to the side? If your usual habits are not coming to fruition in the way that you'd like,
She spent
just
2 years on the Sky Island of Weatheria, studying to help be the navigator, and then does not know that in the new world you need a special kind of compass. Really? 2 years that didn't come up? You didn't research what's it like to navigate in the new world? Not one time. And when in the cover stories, when it shows the Weatheria wizards, they're focused on fashion, much like Nami is here. Like, oh,
yeah.
Nami likes our fashion, so she's dumbing down the world's smartest scientists to this feminine level of lay clothes, literally making the world a worse place. But that's enough of our Nami misogyny corner for this episode. Our uh, frequent segment, as all true fans remember. Eggy,
That's
we
right.
need to put the Zhao arc or the Zoe arc on the tier list, and I did make very pretty tier makers of our tiers here. But before we do, we have not even finished discussing that arc. So let's go a little chronologically here.
Sure.
And uh Kozuki, I believe that it's the Japanese term for moonlight. Is
Mhm.
that stated here? I think that's correct. And it's interesting that the king of the day and the king of the night are united through the Kozuki, and that makes sense because moonlight is the unification of the moon and the sun. Kind of clever.
Mhm.
What do you make of Momo not being the son of Kinemon, but the son of Kozuki Odin?
Well, yeah, after the after the reveal there of that Raizu was being sheltered in that way, or Raizo rather was being sheltered in that way, that they didn't care to sacrifice all this much. That was already quite the hefty blow. This I think this was a good time for it to piggyback on, because, and I do appreciate also that they have this sort of agreeable sentiment that the age was right, the appearance was right for Mononosuke and Kanjuro to be sort of having this alleged relation. But
There's a lot of very strange, mysterious dialogue, especially from the cat and the dog in reference to Momonosuke that gets sprinkled throughout. And then right when I'm starting to like figure like wait, what's the timeline of events here? Suddenly Momo is saying, "Oh yeah, I met Gold Roger. Yeah, I was there." Wait, what? Eggy, what the hell is going on?
I guess it's like okay, Wano is Wano, whatever you want to say. It's the ultimate place. It's the ultimate stop, the last hurrah, the creme de la creme for the samurai, for the ninja persons. And so I guess to be in this sort of royal bloodline of sorts, it's kind of inherent. It's not so surprising maybe for it to be there, but still at the same time,
Well,
it's like
no, but Gold Roger died before Luffy was born, and Momo's 8 years old. So what the fuck?
well,
How would he have met him?
God, what am I thinking? Fuck, I'm not sure what the word I'm trying to think of is here, but they feel like he could have possibly in his upbringing with his bloodline, I think they might have been able to do some sort of like memory transfer kind of thing. That maybe his father met him and he was able to give him some of this just for the sake of being able to uh, have him continue on in this ruling way. Maybe he might have been able to. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I feel like I don't know with royal families, with especially in such a very powerful nation that needs somebody with such an exceptional ruling ability. I feel like maybe something along those lines is very possible. I mean, he's
They,
able to transform into a dragon, so what's really out of the question here? I don't know if
yeah,
that
yeah.
is
There
out
could
of the
be
question.
like a memory fruit where you could like pull people's thoughts out like a strip of film and then just put it into somebody else's brain. So maybe yeah, this royal Kozuki lineage, this moonlight is everlasting, and he maybe he has memories of the Void Century in his brain passed down. It could be anything in One
Mm,
Piece.
yeah, and yeah, I just feel like for ruling purposes, especially like that they would have something there if they've got the the poneglyphs and what they represent has been continued to be known throughout a certain amount of time, even by just a limited group of people, and the trajectory of that and everything, I feel like there's got to be something going on to help move some of these ideas and some of this knowledge along, even for those who are not maybe intimately familiar with certain aspects of it. Like just it's just kind of you can call it a plot point or plot armor or whatever, but just to keep things pushing along. Because if there was a broken uh, segment at any point, and then people just totally forget about something that's crucial, it's like, ah, well, fuck. Like with Zophar, it's a little ahead of ourselves here because we'll get to it, but being able to communicate with people with certain sorts of hockey, maybe perhaps that Mononosuke might have some of this Emperor hockey, maybe, or some of this whatever it is, Supreme King hockey, to be able to infer what's being said to him or what's being communicated to him telepathically. Maybe there's something also playing into the knowledge there as well.
I was going to bring that up exactly. In the entire history of Zunisha, that's the name of this elephant of the island Zo, Dog and Cat admitted it never even occurred to us it might be conscious and alive. And the only people who ever heard its voice were Kozuki Odin, Momo's dad, Gold Roger, Ace's dad, Luffy, and Momo here. So is this supposed to be parallels of like Luffy is this era's Gold Roger and Momo is this era's Odin? And if it is a hockey thing, am I to believe this 8-year-old boy has a hockey that Zoro doesn't have? How come Zoro doesn't hear this voice?
Well, I would probably attribute that to a lineage, a royal bloodline that, yeah, if his father's on record as having had it, his father's got this incredible acumen for his and acknowledgement and reputation for where he was at and for what he led and what he contributed to the world militaristically and so on. Uh, I mean, I think if Mononosuke didn't have it, that would be more of a concern. I mean, sorry, Zoro, but we don't know who your parents are right now. They might not have been having it like that. They might not have not got you set up with that sort of inherent ability that you could tap into from such a young age. You had to be out there getting beat up by Kuina and and figure it out after 20 years or something. But it is what it is.
forever ago, wasn't there an ability discussed called the voice of all things or something? Didn't they say like that's how Roger found the poneglyph at Sky Island? Like he could hear its voice. Or
Yeah, they might have said that, but it does not exactly ring a bell for me, to be
okay,
honest.
it doesn't ring the Skypea bell or the Ox bell. Well, hopefully I'm not spoiling future reveals, but I feel like we discussed the voice of all things at some time, but maybe not. But I don't know
It's
much about it personally. It's just like a term that was used, and maybe that's like the power that allows you to talk to
well, it
things.
reminds me of
'Cause it's why Luffy could hear the sea
well,
creatures on the way
when
to Fishman
Zoro was
Island.
when Zoro was fighting in Alabasta, against Mr. One, and he's able to hear the sounds and the voices of like the metal and the rock
Mm.
and stuff like that. That's the first thing that comes to mind for me. But yeah, if it's I don't know, I can maybe say that that was hockey related there for Zoro, but I could definitely see where it would be hockey related in general, and we have a pretty good feeling at this point that Luffy has those kinds of capabilities. But I could also see that it could be very much a biological and inherent activation versus if you don't have that sort of biological metric, which I believe Momonosuke and Luffy both to have, perhaps you could sort of harness and hone such an ability, but I think it would take greater amounts of training and experiences than what Zoro has even had so far, as great as they are. I think that Supreme King that sounds very top, very top dog, very
Mm-hmm.
peak, and you would need to really go through peak experiences that might take some stronger developments, perhaps.
The only thing higher than Supreme King is Super Saiyan God, which maybe Luffy will
That's
achieve.
right.
So Jack is on the attack, and Zunisha wants to give him a smack, but due to he committed a crime 800 some odd years ago, they say, and his punishment he has to only walk. He can't do anything else, even if everybody's getting blowed up. So he needs Momo to give him a new command. And it's very much like a never ending story when the kid, he's like, really? I need to give the Empress a name, but I'm just a kid reading a book. What can I do? Please, please say it. And he runs up to the window and yells, Moon Child! And he doesn't think that he has the power of the supernatural, and he totally does. And Momo has the same. There's like a telepathic vision where he could visually see what the elephant is seeing and see Jack coming. That was pretty nifty, I guess.
Yeah, I love it a lot. I really do because it's we see it. Excuse me. We see it here in this very particularly illustrated way, but to put ourselves in Momonosuke's shoes and to have like this idea that there's sort of a sixth sense, like a peripheral vision almost of this thing that's going on. There's an idea that it is going on because they're able to observe some shaking and things in the midst of their being on Zoe in that way. But it's for him to command it that way. It's sort of like when I drive, I usually don't look to see who's in my quote unquote blind spot. I just kind of get a feel for it, and then I quickly change with no blinker at 90 miles an hour. That's how I feel like you have to go off instinct sometimes, and that's how I feel like Momonosuke was operating here to
Yeah, Eggy's
make things
driving with
happen in the way.
observation hockey. Officer, please, I've been training my hockey for months. How could I
Absolutely,
have seen
100%.
you?
Yeah, there's definitely some truth there because I have memorized the height of each police vehicle. They got slightly different headlights. They have like this sort of I don't know what you call it. They got like a metal grate on the front to help tackle and take down your vehicle with. So I memorized these sorts of things to have a good idea of when I need to speed past the police without getting arrested. So true, true,
We still
very
need to
true.
put this on the tier list, so I'm going to run through some more thoughts on Zoe real quick. We find out that the Kozuki clan, so Momo's family, they're the ones who made the poneglyphs 8 centuries ago. What do we know about
That's it.
8 centuries ago? Very little, because it's the fucking Void Century. That's a
Yeah.
brain blast and a half.
Honestly, probably maybe they could have been at my top of mind, but I just didn't know if I had enough to chew on for it. Like it's there, like it's shocking And it's like I kind of want to grab onto Mononosuke now and be like, "Ah,"
Yeah,
you know.
so what is happening in this void century that people feel the need to engrave on indestructible rocks some sort of history or pointing out a place, whatever these poneglyphs are for? Now we have a hint at their purpose, really.
Well, I think that what we have heard of, what we have so-called learned, since that particular time frame, has just not been authentic. I think it's been a falsehood. It's been a fabrication and illusion, for the betterment of Marijoa, for the betterment of the celestial dragons. They claim to rule over us by this God-given right, and there's nothing really for it. But it's just what your history says has been this since back in the day. Meanwhile, through incredible strife and incredible dedication, suffering, dedication, and so on, you're able to get some scrolls and some text that is put into these very hard to reach and hard to copy situations that might have some logistics, might have some metrics, some coordinates for you to find a hidden island that might possibly have a some kind of incredible treasure on it. But for the fact that these were created following the event of this void century, I feel like whatever's on there has to be relative and has to be something very uh, enlightening, because I don't think that it would be just anything to
We know
have
that
these
the world
different.
government has spent centuries hunting down anybody who can even read the language and
Exactly.
genociding them. So it's got to be pretty bad for the government. These are the Epstein
100%.
files of the One Piece world, and only Robin can
It's
read
so true.
them.
It's absolutely true.
They will stop
We
at
had
nothing to distract us with Tourette syndrome N words so that we stop searching for the One
Mononosuke is like,
Piece.
well, we have these other 3 million that have been released so far. They talk about playing Xbox Live and uh, uh, uh Bill Gates, he cheated with a prostitute. That's it. That's all.
Yeah, just two
Luffy's like,
Russian women.
no,
They were adults, of
no, there's
age,
gotta be more.
consenting, non-related.
It'd be
Um,
crazy if the Epstein files had something like the Da Vinci Code, where like you'd like dunk the one of the files in like lemon juice or something, and all of a sudden it has like a whole new thing going on.
on the back of the Declaration of Independence, there's a map. We find out that Momo's dad Odin was put to death by both Kaido and the Shogun of Wano, which if Momo's like, if Odin was the daimyo of a place in Wano and Momo's next in line, does that mean Odin, he's royalty, but his boss, like the supreme king of the whole land, just decided to kill him?
Hmm. Uh,
You would think that the Shogun of Wano would be on a Wano daimyo's side, but I guess he was with Kaido. And we get this text box that says, I am Odin, I was born to boil. Do you have any idea what this could mean?
It's very bizarre. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate that it comes together in this volume where we have these boiling fish in the boiling sea, because it kind of
Mm-hmm.
like maybe trends that way. It doesn't make any sense for that though. You would think like just one who's meant to be staying very intense and very passionate, regardless of circumstance, perhaps, is what I'd like to attribute it to. But uh, which, frankly, considering what we know of the people that we do know from Wano, they don't really seem to cool down too much. I'll keep it real. They're pretty on top. They're pretty like,
Mm-hmm.
like that's how they're
They're
coming to
always fired
every
up.
bit. So, but I feel like boiling in particular denotes really like a sort of lingering rage or anger or something that sort of is persistent like that. It isn't exactly like too much of a energetic uh display necessarily. You could be over there just seething and going like. So I'd like to think it's related to presence and energy, but it's not particularly clear at the moment, I don't think.
When I played the video game Modern Warfare 2019 in the Call of Duty franchise, I had a class where my main gun was the Odin, And the name of the class was Born to Boil. That was a peak Odin fever at the time. I think that's when those chapters were coming out.
Hmm.
Born to Boil. Can't wait to find out what the hell all this means. Any other lingering thoughts on the Zoe arc before we put it on our tier list?
Well, I did enjoy. Well, on the one hand, to see Jack is back. I think this is the grand reveal of that we get here, and that he wasn't taken out in this. You're going to go see save Doflamingos was previously mentioned. To have that and to have him just just swept away by that grand trunk smash. Very satisfying because looks like a total freak. He seems like an asshole. So
But we
I don't think
see
anybody
him.
who's got this Captain Morgan like iron face mask thing going on, anybody who's looking like that and with all this like bloodshot eye stuff, this shit freaks me out. Yeah, it's much better that he's smashed to the bottom of the ocean, frankly.
Well, Eggy, his face mask is smashed up, and we see he has sharp teeth. And then we see him again. He's still alive, laying at
At
the
the bottom of the
bottom of
ocean.
the ocean in the wreckage, waiting to be saved. So if he's a devil fruit user with this mammoth fruit, how is he alive and breathing under the ocean? And is it related to his sharp teeth?
Yeah, I would think so. I'm thinking probably some fishman energy going on
Yeah.
there, but
What if a
I
fish
guess
man ate a
maybe
fruit? I guess he wouldn't be able to swim, but he could breathe.
it's definitely a new series of events, and it's unfortunate that he's probably going to be he's probably going to be rescued. I don't like I said I just don't like what he's bringing to the table. He's very uncomfortable. Not that he's I mean obviously because he's against our allies and our friends, but even beyond that, he just really just rubs me the wrong way.
The artwork of
But
that giant elephant trunk swinging at him and like his sort of like almost Looney Tunes point of view of like, oh fuck, and just maybe that should be some wall art. Just those panels would make a good thing up on my. It's good artwork, Oda. He likes drawing this elephant. Eggy,
indeed.
the Zoe arc, yeah, it was not as short as you might think. It's only like 2 or 3 chapters shorter than the Impel Down arc, which I had at the top of S tier for a long time. So, would it be shocking if I said this was an S tier arc, despite its length?
Yeah, I mean, I probably would feel shocked about that, to be honest.
Really? Well,
I
we
mean,
have Eggy's tier list on screen here, Eggy. So let's talk me through. Where do you think the Zoe arc belongs?
I feel like it is like around Sabayoti. I might maybe put it. I could probably put it above Sabayoti because I feel like a big thing about Sabayoti to me was Silver's Rayleigh. He was really a heavy hitter there, a big component. And I feel like lore wise, I feel like we get matched here on that. We're in a new area that's a little more exciting than the archipelago, I think, to be on Zoe, whatever. The introduction of the minx gives it some extra interest. The loss of Sanji, this arranged marriage situation going on. Uh, yeah, I think some of those different elements there, for me, they provide a little bit more than Sabayoti. But when we have Arlong Park with Nami and Drum Island with Chopper, I still feel like story-wise, I'm going to give them a bit more credence, a bit more weight. So I think between Drum Island and Sabayoti, A tier for me. I'm fine with that much. But
Well, you think I'm crazy? To about for one who is about to argue an S tier ranking of Zoe. And I'm going to have it at the very bottom of my S tier, below Alabasta, and then above Arlong Park at the king of A tier on my list. And it's because to get that S tier ranking, you really, and not that Arlong Park necessarily doesn't, but you need to have something in the story that's really a big emotional gut punch to me that I could really feel down to my bones. And the entire plight of the animals protecting Raizo, I mean, that's a complete story, beginning to end, told in this arc. And that doesn't even mention the 6 or 7, no pun intended, giant lore bombs that kind of recontextualize the entire One Piece series so far. And now we understand the quest we're on and what we need to accomplish to make it to the end game. And all the twists of Momo in retrospect are even greater. Like once you have the full picture of what's going on, everything here is so much more intense and emotional, really. And so it is interesting to get the tier ranking perspective of the Virgin take, and then for me to come in and say, well, on reread, this hits even harder in a lot of ways.
You do make a good point there.
But I think it's you should keep it where you put it because
Yeah,
this is your perspective.
I think I will because I just want to say one thing about in regards to the poneglyphs. That is a very big reveal, but I feel like it's a for where it stands at the moment. It's sort of a it's going to be very controversial, maybe, but and I don't mean to say it all the way with my full chest, but all had no cattle. We get, oh my goodness, yes, this is the poneglyph and this is this and this, but it is what we're told. We've previously been immersed in certain experiences where the poneglyph was just a component of this big greater thing. It's being presented to us now in this particular way, but we have not it's kind of almost like a window shopping of poneglyph. If you kind of get where I'm coming from here, like we have here's this, but when we haven't taken this and applied it yet. I feel like so it's there and it's big and it's very enticing and it's very mind jogging. It's very thought provoking, but I feel like we need more in that way. Retrospectively, retroactively, this might be something that is going to end up giving this more weight as we move forward. But for what it is in the moment, I think where I'm putting it, I'm going to stick with my thoughts on it.
The way I rationalize it is that we finally get uh, real progress because in the past, entire arcs will be dedicated to Luffy defeats a warlord, and it's pointless because there will always be 7 warlords. You defeat one, they will replace him with somebody else. You're not actually progressing and changing anything at all. Your bounty keeps going up. Yeah, so does Wall Street. If like a number keep going up,
Right.
epic. But
That's
now
right.
we need to collect 4 of this, and this is number 1. We just got number 1. Like that's definable, real progress. And that means something to me in my autistic brain. Like we're not just uh, doing random shit seemingly. Like we finally have a purpose.
I do agree 100%. Yeah, I mean, that's very helpful in that regard. I just need, yeah, like we're charting this out. Now let's get behind what we're charting as well. Let's move. Let's dictate this, and then let's get behind it and let's fulfill this. That's how I feel.
Okay, let's do some cover stories and some SBS info. And
Mhm.
in the SBS, Oda tells us the hobbies of all of the worst generation. And I think there's a lot of literally Eggy characters here, okay?
Funny
Blackbeard,
you should say that.
Blackbeard's
Yeah.
into gambling, but Rouge is the most literally Eggy of perhaps any character ever. Booze, debauchery, and mountain climbing. We've took in all 3 with Cousin Joey. But is there one that stood out to you as being literally you?
Well, the first one, of course, obviously Zoro. Training in booze. I train on drinking booze.
That's right.
Speaking of which, can we just get let's today this week? We're continuing it, but I unfortunately it's a bit of a lackluster drink of the week.
We're doing a Zoro
Because
Miller Light, and you just pop the cap off.
no, I wanted to do a Robin this week. I think she might be the last of the Straw Hats to reach here, but every recipe I conceived of, they all, for some fucking reason, I don't know if it's some part of her lore that I've missed. I don't want to like go looking it up exactly because I might spoil myself on something. But regardless of what era, because it's like, oh, which, but my good friend Chat GPT trying to help me with some Nico Robin recipe creation, all of them demand elderflower syrup or elderflower liquor. I don't know. I've got to find a place to get it. I'm trying to I'm going through. I'm like, oh, how about if I make it out of what's a drink I can make that's for Nicaraguan that's just nacho cheese? Well, you're gonna need nacho cheese and elderflower gin. Like, nah, it just keeps happening. I gotta take extra time this week.
I believe
So
the gimmick of her fruit, the Hana no Mi, maybe that's flower fruit in the sense that she can like make her limbs bloom like flowers anywhere. I
well,
think
here's the
that's the
thing.
idea.
Uh, I should have figured this, but I still can. There's a spice shop in Des Moines called Allspice. We were down. We're buying some gifts for. I'm going to Florida next week, so it's for some family of my girlfriend that we're going to see. Uh, but they have lavender powder or something. Maybe I could just try and flour something up. We'll get there when we get there. But this week we're traveling back to Dressrosa. That's right, as you might remember from, I believe it was the flashback when the first island that Doflamingo was using the birdcage on. We didn't go to this island, but it was on the map. That map was Apple Nine Island. Ba, 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 ba.
Oh,
So we have
okay.
this here from the liquor store, the 70-cent cocktails that they've had because I got, like I said, I have a trip next week and shit costs. So anyway,
That's right.
here we have a glass of it here. The At Me Apple. This is the Apple 9 addendum because it's the addendum to the cocktail list when elderflower is hard to come by. And sometimes you just need a little something to get you through. And sometimes you need an island to flee to when Doflamingo's killing you with a birdcage. You know what? Better this than nothing. That's what I got to say. And so did everybody that fled for their life. So the Apple 9 addendum, it's deliciously neon green. This was about to be banned in America, but thankfully Donald Trump changed his mind on taking poison out of the
Uh-oh.
food. He said, hey, who cares about you fucking losers? Time to die. I hate you all. And he said we could keep drinking this goo.
Enjoy the melting pot of chemicals, folks. I'll keep it in for you. Is it delicious at 70 cents a
Uh,
bottle?
You know what? It tastes like it's malt based. So imagine like a cheap beer. There's a cheap beer something in here you can kind of take, like a cheap beer with a green Jolly Rancher in it.
Oh, yeah, yum.
But it's extremely high alcohol. And the
Oh.
fact that I drank a large percentage before I came into the podcast today might have explained a little bit of my slurring, but it's not the other kind
And
of
maybe some
slurring
of
that
the
I'm also
burping
known
and
for. So this is really dedicated to both Rouge and Zoro. They're the top two guzzlers on the worst generation hobby list. And I feel like, sometimes I'm as locked in and as calculated as Zoro. And sometimes I'm a big flying debauchery freak like a Rouge.
but what about studying
And
history and gambling? Because it sounds like Blackbeard or might be black pilled on maybe some historical events, and he goes to gamble his woes away. That's also Eggy. And
yeah,
your beard might be a little black right there,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
a little bit.
I must say, yeah, it's if I had to choose one, probably God, very tough between a Rouge and Blackbeard, and they both
Uh-huh.
have black beards, so that's good. I think over my life, I've probably done more booze and debauchery than gambling, but it's by a close metric.
And we
And a
love that
Rouge,
mountain climbing out in Colorado. I can't wait to go back when I have
that's
the
right.
time and money for it. The problem is it was in a casino town, and I don't give a fuck about the casino. So why would I pay resort fees at this hotel just so I can go mountain climbing? So if anybody knows a good place with good public mountain hiking trails and cheap hotels nearby in and around Colorado, let us know. I'd love to road trip out there. Maybe that van guy can give us some pointers. Don't need to go to fucking Blackhawk.
He's in my algorithm still, and he's been having like 15 to 20 viewers lately, so he must
Oh,
be doing
wow.
all right.
Consistent.
Yeah.
One that stuck out to me, Drake, the guy who can turn into a dinosaur, he studies astrophysics. That's like space and like how the stars move around and stuff, right, Eggy?
Yeah, basically like how like entering the orbit of like outer space would be. Yeah, like yeah, how the spaceship would interact with the atmosphere, meteors, how they interact. Maybe he's kind of low key Fujitora pilled of how's the how the meteors are coming through the atmosphere or something like that, perhaps.
Well, I don't think Oda is just like chat GPTing random hobbies. I think this is all very intentional. And there's the image I have in my mind of a T-Rex floating in space with the fucking
Wait,
space
wait.
helmet on. And I think that's my prediction of the week. That's my lock of the week, is that Drake will be a dinosaur floating in space because Oda just likes that visual. And he probably saw it in a cartoon as a child.
I was gonna say, I didn't really mean much by my Fujitoro pilled, interactions with meteor in the atmosphere, but he is a dinosaur, so maybe that's like, oh fuck, what killed the dinosaurs again? There might be something there, maybe trying to keep it from happening again if he has any of the wherewithal. But I'd much rather him be an astronaut. That'd be much better, I think, for sure, absolutely.
Maybe he goes to space and then ultimately Fujitora has to kill him with the meteor. Tragic.
Uh, the Navy always wins. Brutal.
There has to be some Japanese cartoon Oda saw as a kid that had a dinosaur floating in space, and then he said, I have to put that in my manga. So that is my lock of the week, folks. And when it happens, I expect $3 memberships on the Mumkey D. Jones YouTube channel, where you can join the Discord and so many fun things. Good bonus episodes we've been doing every month.
That's right. I had to tell somebody. Somebody asked me about that Usopp bean pilled cocktail the other day. I say, you gotta wait for another week or two, but you can go join them right now for $3 on the thing. So that's right.
Let's go into the Whole Cake Island arc, which is what chapters, last couple chapters here, last three. Anything we haven't said already about all of it? We might have covered it all, actually.
Well, we got prior to that, we have Luffy seeing a picture of his father for the first time because presumably, Jesus Burgess went to the Revolutionary Army's hideout and just fucking blew the shit out of it.
Probably, I forgot we were going through all the cover stories as well. That was in the cover story too, is that the revolutionaries, Sabo and Dragon and Koala, they're hanging out and all happy, but then a couple chapters later we find out their shit got blowed the fuck up. Uh-oh.
Brutal.
That's what you get for forgetting Ace.
Kind of I suppose it's a little before everything we already mentioned of Kaido spurging out and Luffy destroying all the food. We also get my very good friend, Mr. Tamago, the Mr. Baron of the Eggs with his Reddit speak. That's also before my top of mind.
Speaking French, lay. In the cover story, Mihawk is wearing a Luffy-style straw hat, seemingly, while reading the newspaper with his waifu Perona. Is Mihawk getting straw hat pilled?
I feel well enough and positively enough about Mihawk that I think that he should get with the program. I think he can see where the wind is blowing. So I think he's right to do so, and it's enough of a representation that could also still be plausible deniability as well. If somebody in his superior space is not feeling the Luffy developments, that's why I just brought my straw hat back out today, because I forgot that I had taken it down to a local diner. It was a real podcast dinner situation, and they had just must have rewound the tape back finally enough to see that it was me. It was very dusty when I got it back. I think they kept it in somebody's shoe locker, but you never know. The straw hat is a symbol that not everybody knows what time it is, even with my little red.
The restaurant stored it in their giant freezer, and they had to go get the straw hat out. Hey, Gotti, there's the mobster pirates, there's a guy named Gotti, and his arm is a Gatling gun, which is the coolest shit ever. Straight from Mega Man yet again. Huh? Mega Man Legends predicted One Piece, folks. Look up the Mother Lode and tell me it's not the One Piece. Come on now. It's literally about pirates and ships traveling a world that's 90% water, going island to island, having adventures, folks. Oda is a hack. I questioned, is Sanji's dad Hitler? And when in the preparation for the reverie, I saw a man who looked literally exactly like Hitler. Did I not? In the
Is that in
collage
the
of like
yeah, the collage of
politicians,
like
it showed a dude with a Hitler mustache.
they're like, oh, all these, these people, they've got a bit of a mean streak in them, and they all have to get together. And all I'm saying is, all these kids are very, well, all these adult children, excuse me, are very sexy, okay, and blonde, and they have a bit of, if you told me like, do you think twirly eyebrows are German pilled? I would probably say that I would think that they are. Uh,
Yeah, when Germa double six pulls up and they have skulls on their belt buckle as a design, is that not literally the SS design? Like, is there not that famous uh, sketch from British comedy of "Are we the
well,
baddies?" Because our costume has fucking skulls
it,
on it.
and it's a skull and a cross. You've heard of something called the Iron Cross? I think there might be some strong symbolism here,
You ever
mayhaps.
heard of the skull and crossbones? Okay, in this world, if you bear a skull, you're a hero, just like in the real world. Oda, Oda.
Okay, Google, would you say the Iron Cross is perhaps a symbolism of National Socialist Germany?
The Iron Cross has a history in German military decoration dating back to 1813. The Nazi regime later modified it, but it's distinct from the swastika. While sometimes used by extremists, it often
Well, I think free thinkers, judge for yourselves, but that is literally the Iron Cross with a not to mention, let's just say they ain't no 6'9" on the swirls of the eyes. It's supposed to be a circulating what else is circulating? What else is spinning, folks? I'm just saying, I think now that you mention it, I don't know, it wasn't exactly floating into my mind because I was just concentrated on how fucking hot and sexy both Miss Pudding and Miss Sangina were. I mean, I
Raiju,
was like I said, I think
Raiju.
I read this last couple chapters probably halfway out of my mouth like this as I was sucking on the phone like some kind of giant rectangular pacifier.
So
Frank,
what? Can you imagine why this might be Heartsy's favorite arc? We
favorite.
have the lead villain, Big Mom, loves DEI, and she wants to marry her daughter off to Hitler to join Hitler's family in her alliance. Imagine the possibilities of the insanity of the shit we could be reading in the next who knows how many weeks, Eggy. Are you excited for this arc after this brief intro?
It might be the most excited that I've been in a long time because I'll tell you this much, I really did enjoy Dressrosa and it was easily top tier for me, but it's hitting familiar notes, and I think some of these like I don't know, Punk Hazard was a bit off my
Unique.
normal path. But something here specifically, I don't know what it is. It's tantalizing in a way that I feel like I'm a bit too old for it to be tantalizing, but and also not to mention the final chapter here we have the gorging of candy goodness by Luffy and Chopper. They weigh like 800 pounds of candy and they're all like stretched out when Chopper even shouldn't be. Luffy, it's one thing he can stretch like that, but
yeah.
uh,
Yeah, what is Chopper's excuse? Now, the police are going to arrest them for the crime of snackalism. And I this might be the worst joke I ever make, but I fucking cracked up laughing. What if when they were arresting Jeffrey Epstein, he gave the same excuse that Luffy gave, which is, listen, pal, there's a real good reason for this. It was too good to stop. I was like, damn. What if so many people could give that excuse when they're getting arrested? And the fact that that was the reason is why Pudding spares them, because Pudding is so happy that it was too good for them to stop eating, and she saves them from the police.
If only we could all be so fortunate as to, file that as a reason to be forgiven for excess. Because as a man that I am, without the Epstein connotations, of course, but as you can see, I'm much for the excess,
You would
whether
commit the
that be an
crime of snackalism many times.
Yeah, I got this stuff from Aldi. It's like cranberry goat cheese dip with some of these like honey potato chips from Trader Joe's. Like I'm there. Like, yes, my girlfriend. I mean,
You guys
I
are
don't.
driving
Listen,
all
I'm a
the way to
grown man.
Trader Joe's?
I'm a middle-aged grown man. I'm old enough to have fucking grandchildren basically at this point. And yes, I still need my significant other to pull goat cheese and potato chips out of my hands. Like I have this exact two. She's like, you can't be drinking no 2 liter laying in bed. I was like, it's diet. It's not. It's like water. And then I go
Yeah.
and I started napping, and then all of a sudden I wake up and it's in the fridge. So I put that in the fridge for you. You can't be laying in no bed drinking no goddamn 2 liter soda. I'm like, it's diet soda. So, anyways,
Doesn't
what
you
I
know
mean to
Eggy
say is I'm
needs
a
his
man of
drink
excess.
room temperature? The Eggy I know
trying
would
to,
not be drinking shit out of the fridge. I suspect it hurts his teeth, but I don't want to ask. Because that's why Cobra needed everything room temperature, but...
It's not all that. I don't know. It's like I feel like I'm drinking like ice cream or something when I drink cold stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It is autism, don't get me wrong. And she also asked why, like, I wedge myself between the mattress and the wall. And I looked it up and it says what autistic people do because, like, we like walls and we want to, like, push our head against the wall because it makes us comfortable or something. So I'm learning more about myself every day. But one thing I don't need any more explanation for is that I am a man who loves the snackification and snacktilism. And I'm a man of excess and excessive fun and excessive hate crimes that I really love crimes, but I love doing them anyways. Back to the matter of fact is that this green apple goodness for 79 cents is a gall-darn steal. Thank
wow,
you
that whole part was the same drinking segment this whole time? Wow.
I think it started in 2015, and I'm not sure if it stopped. Frankly, but...
Wow, I just read the segment today, but wow. So you're going to rank this one at the bottom of the drink tier list?
In all fairness, yeah, it was. It's really a placeholder, but it has a special place in the slop. I mean,
it's got to be neutral compared to like the really bad ones, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's probably more tasty than
crushed beans.
It's probably not. Yeah, it probably is better than that. It's got. But for the value, they say they charge like $5 or $6 for this normally. I don't believe that could possibly be true, but it is quite potent. And they had them for $4 for $1 on New Year's Eve, and I had about 2 or 3 of them that night. And it was really a catastrophe, actually. I wouldn't recommend drinking that many of these. But I've drank in everything Boone Farms, which is actually not from Boone, but it's the thing that homeless people drink. I think it's actually from Texas. And Mad Dog. I've drank in everything that homeless people drink. This is probably included in that. And it's a good service to those people. They have something to enjoy in these trying times. And it's something that I could get a little buzz off of to, enjoy my live broadcasts as I'm attacked by South Asian censorship principles. And it's all for a cheap price. And I can make $300 going live and for a 70-cent investment. So I think it's all well.
Wow, we're doing the plugs early, too. Okay, everybody go follow Eggy on what you're moving to Kick now, or what'd you say you're moving to? Staying on YouTube?
Yeah, I'll say go to x.com/2eggwhite. We still, it's a good central command hub for everything, but yeah, we're gonna try Kick out because people were just they're messaging. Excuse me, they were tweeting at me and saying we can't even say one word. They couldn't even say McDonald's. It was blocked to say McDonald's. We're talking about the new sandwich that McDonald's was putting out. So for some reason, and I had heard that it was going on throughout the whole website today. Nobody that streamed on YouTube today, none of it was working. But why reward a broken website? We're going to try out this kick.com. You know, they say, oh, it's bad because gambling sponsors it. I mean, hey, it ain't no problem for me.
That's why we call Eggy Blackbeard. He loves gambling and history.
That's right, exactly.
The fact that our lead pirate villain, his main hobby is studying history, there's no way he's actually a bad guy, right? Like, in real life, the people who really study history, they might be seen as bad guys by the world government, but from my perspective, might be some heroes.
Somebody's got to figure it out. I'll tell you one thing. I don't know. I don't want to spice up your, One Piece podcast with too many politics, but...
Yeah, our 300 viewers will be pissed, but go ahead.
Well, there's a man, he works for, I think, Ben Shapiro's name's John Doyle, and he's been doing this series called Debunking Black History Month for the last 25 days.
Does he have
It
Tourette's?
sounds very prejudiced, don't get me wrong. I looked at it as, I'm not prejudiced, I can't listen to that, but I checked a couple of them out, and Well, like Harriet Tubman wasn't actually even a real person. They just like pulled some woman off the street and made it up. This is actually true. This is actually backed up by science and facts and logic and history. It never even happened.
The Rosa Parks story that you're taught in elementary school is a complete fabrication as well. And I'm glad that Medea pointed that out in the Medea movie. Even though she was pulling out her smartphone to take a selfie with Rosa Parks, which I think might be anachronistic a little bit, but
yeah, do your research, folks. I'll tell you that it's really actually. I want to say that one more thing because I'm about to go and get in my vehicle for work and things here in a moment. Even beyond what we were just speaking on, like there's stuff that you could go and get a book that nobody's read since like 1940. I've been collecting antique books for some number of years, and I still do. But you'll just pull up on something. Oh, I remember back when we jumped onto a meteor in 1923. Or what the fuck? Like stuff happened that nobody speaks on, even in my own lifetime. And I think maybe perhaps you, Mr. Jimmy, could agree, Mr. Captain. I think there's things we could agree. We've seen with our own eyes, heard with our own ears in our own lifetime that have just been swept under the rug and no longer considered as factual truths, even though we know them to be so. And it was much the same for our ancestors, forefathers, and so on as well. So, I mean, really, folks, read old books. If they look for that nice yellowed paper, that old smell, soak up every single letter that's typed in these things, because I'm telling you, there's more out there than you know, and Blackbeard agrees.
Well, it's like Doflamingo said at Marineford. History is just what the winners of wars decide is history and what they write down in the books. I mean, history is an opinion. And if I was writing the history books, I would say that Charlie Kirk's wife worked with Israel to have him assassinated. But instead, the history books are going to say it was some libtard and that we need to give Israel another $80 trillion. So history books are just somebody's opinion, to be quite honest, and they probably got everything fucking wrong.
It's very true. And Candace Owens is starting her new series called Bride of Kirk. That's supposed to be like a blow the top off it or whatever. So I'm making sure that every single Fox News watching semi-normal person that I know that's open to listening to this, even though I don't know if I'll even believe it, but it'll be funny to gauge the reactions of, well-meaning and normally minded people as this schizophrenic black woman is talking about time travel with Charlie Kirk's wife or whatever the fuck's going on. So that'll be fun.
I thought it was very romantic that they were time travelers who found each other, Eggy. I mean, the timeline where Charlie and Candace get married and they go on their anti-Israel brigade together and save the world, that's what was taken from us.
Shout out to Sanji and Princess Cupcake or whatever, caramel pudding, but they got to run for their money. That's all I got to say. They got to run for their berries here with Bride of Kirk. So I can't wait to hear that out and draw many comparisons in the future.
And one last note, we see a mermaid fish man reporting to Jinbei that Luffy has entered Big Mom's territory. Are we seeing the return of Jinbei soon, Eggy?
God, it would be so great. Did your copy of this have this Shirahoshi, this all messed up page like mine did?
Like the artwork wasn't finished?
It repeats like 10 panels back to back.
Like it zoomed them in for you?
Yeah,
that was just the website being
stupid. It's formatted in this more solidly whatever, and then all of a sudden it repeats everything with like more zoomed in than the previous 10 panels, but you just get the same thing all over again. So yeah,
I guess I feel bad I didn't mention Vivi is in this volume, and she's on her way to the Reverie along with all of the other princess characters that Luffy has met and helped. And Django, the hypnotist, is on the escort to take Vivi. My final question of the episode, Eggy, can Django use his hypnotism to make Vivi fall in love with me?
Hey, she clearly states that she's an open book and single on the market, single and ready to mingle. It's right in the volume, folks, and I'm thinking it's fucking real. Nothing is out of our reach.
One Piece, people!